Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, host of a Totally Turtle sports and gaming YouTube channel, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
no evil shall escape my sight,
but those who worship evil's might.
Beware my power.
Green Lantern's light. Hello and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern Podcast. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, Master of the Core. It is...
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
All right, everyone. And yes, we are back. More Judd Winnick. This time we're going to be discussing Green Lantern 137 through 139. And kind of sort of have new Green Lantern stuff. No, not a regular series, but...
Yeah, who wants that?
We can also discuss the results we have so far from our poll about what we should do for episode 100.
Awesome.
Because this is 94 already, so... Like I said, what is it, like second week of January? So,
yep.
And we'll probably record a little before that. So,
So
all right.
Haha.
All right. So, like I was telling you, I got Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 6 last week. I mean, there wasn't like a ton of action for Hal, but it's like between him and Barry Allen to get the Justice League back home, you know, in time to fight Pariah and everyone, because there's like a cool 2-page spread towards the end of all the Green Lanterns and the Justice League are like popping out of this like.
Okay, so I see John, I see Jessica, I see Guy. Is Kyle in there?
Yeah. He was he's between he's up there between Flash and Kilowog.
Oh, and Kilowog. And there's Simon and Chassalon, who I thought was dead. Do you see Joe or any of the other?
That
was all of the Earth Lanterns except for Joe, I think, right?
I think so. Oh, look there. Yeah. Did you say Simon with a fully functional ring? Yes.
Yes.
Jessica is a Green Lantern. Oh, yeah, no. There's
Joe.
Yeah, there's Joe between between Wonder Woman and you know who, Batman.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. All the Earth Green Lanterns there. Salak is there. Yeah, there's a couple others.
So I'm going to ask what I think is probably a stupid question.
Well, this is the place for it.
Because I excel at such things.
This is the place for it.
Is there anything in Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths that would preclude Green Lantern having his own series during it?
No.
I mean, I haven't seen anything.
You could have done like from their point of view in a monthly Green Lantern book. No, it could. I'm surprised they didn't go for the cash grab.
I don't understand.
I don't know, William. Like,
I sure would like a Green Lantern title, you know.
If they wanted to, there's no Aquaman book, there's no Green Arrow book. You know what? I can almost get it because supposedly the Justice League was supposed to be dead, but there's so many Green Lanterns. Only John Stewart was the only one supposed to be dead.
Yeah. I just. Oh, and next week we should have previews for February, right?
I think so. Oh yeah, because we're getting maybe. Oh, come on, DC, give us a reason to give thanks. Give us a Green Lantern monthly title in February.
Absolutely, because how many months has it been now without a regular monthly Green Lantern title?
Since April, hasn't it?
I think so. And there won't be one until possibly February. That's like 10 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're getting close to a year, and that's if we get something in February.
Yeah, if. And that is by no means a given.
And I mean, it's not like we're getting like regular Green Lantern anywhere else besides Dark Crisis. Like, there's not even an Action Comics Weekly.
Oh, thank goodness. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that there's not even like an anthology or a backup of Green Lanterns anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of, it was Superman, Green Lantern, or Green Lantern, Superman, the Legend of the Green Flame, or the Green Flame, or something like that. That was the Neil Gaiman.
Oh yes, that's on our list. Yes.
Okay, cool. It
was that. It was that and the Alan Moore stuff. Yeah. For an episode.
It caps off the Action Comics Weekly stuff. Supposedly, it's been a long time since I read it, and I don't think it came out until 2000 something.
Oh yeah, it was many years after. Yeah, because I have to reread. It's been so many years since I read that. Yeah, since we did the Action Comics Weekly stuff, yeah, it might be funny just to see, how it compares to the rest of the Action Comics Weekly stuff.
Legend of the Green Flame. Looks like it came out in January of 2001.
Ooh. Oh, that's
yeah. Right around the time that we're discussing with the Green Lantern series right now.
Uh-huh.
So if it doesn't get voted in, we'll have to, throw it in somewhere, right?
Heck yeah.
But it will mean kind of revisiting Action Comics Weekly.
Yeah. All right.
There's an obvious downside, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we've gotten any more votes since I shared the screenshot with you. But yeah, so far, only 2 things have been picked. 80% of you have picked the first appearances of classic Green Lantern characters.
Cool. I'm down with that.
And 20% picked hard traveling heroes so far. So.
And I'm down with that too. So that's cool.
I'm just surprised like Neil Gaiman and Alan Moore didn't get at least get a couple votes.
Yeah. Well, the voting is still young.
Yes.
What is it they say? Vote early, vote often. Is that surely not?
Exactly. Yeah, show them. Show them democracy still works.
That's right.
Oh yes, and then like I told you, I also got the new Golden Age #1. They're still teasing a lot of stuff, but it almost seems like maybe they're going to be putting together maybe like a JSA from like different like points in time or something, because a lot like they keep going back to like the childhood of Helena Wayne. I guess they're going to be going with that version of the Huntress.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's got to be Earth. Pick a number at this point.
I don't know, because it just says 10 years from now, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they showed like the classic JSA, and then like guess they had like legacy characters who I guess must be from 3022. So I'm guessing this is like Legion time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we got what looks like a young Green Lantern whose costume is somewhat similar to Alan Scott's. There's like a female Dr. Fate and somebody else in a helmet. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a future Wildcat or what, but
well, who was Kyle's descendant? Carrie.
Oh yeah. I can't. Was it Carrie Wren or something or?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. In a Legion timeline that doesn't exist anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, that was from that Legion story. Yeah. Scroll down to June, kids. The end of June, kids.
That was the reboot Legion, not the original Legion or the 3-boot Legion or whatever we've got now. I don't know what that is even. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you see that? Like I was telling you, I think this week they're starting a Stargirl miniseries where I guess like several like kid sidekicks of the Golden Age heroes have been missing or out of time or something. So they're going to address that. And then I guess there was a tease in here for like like a new Dr. Manhattan. So I'm still seeing the headlines are saying, oh, there's gonna be a new version of Dr. Manhattan called The Watchman.
Okay.
Alan Moore is spitting in his future grave.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I guess they're trying to do stuff, but sometimes I'm just like, they're just effing with Alan Moore, right?
Sometimes it feels like it. I mean, yeah, it kind of does. Seems a little personal.
It does. And I'm like, I don't know why you have control of these characters. It's not like he's holding these characters back from you or anything.
No. Just refused to work with you because you were mean to him. So, rightly so, in my mind.
Oh, I saw an article the one time. I guess he was like, he's like, I'll take full responsibility for, comics going dark with like, the Killing Joke and stuff. And
Watchmen.
uh-huh.
Well, but I really, and honestly, I feel like he did take a lot of responsibility for that and tried to undo a bit of it with his ABC Comics line, which came out from DC Wildstorm and then DC, which was kind of weird. But
Yeah.
Tom Strong, Tomorrow Stories, Promethea, Top 10. I mean, Promethea has gorgeous. I'm a big fan of Tom Strong just because of the Chris Sprouse art, and it's it's fun, and then Promethea's just got gorgeous art by J.H. Williams III, and it's kind of this exploration of what magic and magic systems are, and it's brilliant.
Wow.
There's a 2-page spread, and I think this is Alan Moore showing off, which is it's the infinity symbol, right? You have the two characters walking around this infinity symbol, so they're in different places. 2-page spread, and the characters are talking. You can actually jump into that conversation at any point on the page, and follow it all the way around, and it'll come back, and you can any point. I'm like, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
I don't know if they were paying him, but it wasn't enough.
It wasn't. I mean, I really think he's brilliant, and I did he did a BBC Maestro writing class, and I was like, okay, I'll take it. This is Alan Moore, right? And he is so freaking hilarious. I mean, he's just so funny. He's got such a deadpan sense of humor that's, I don't know if it's very British or very him or what, but it was certainly worth taking the class just to listen to him, talk for, like 6-7 hours or whatever it was. But yeah, he is very, very funny, and very brilliant.
I don't know. I think it just annoys him when people are just like, "I love Watchmen. Those characters are awesome." He's like, "No, you don't get it. They're not.
They're not.
Like them,
Rorschach's the best. No, you're completely missing the point.
But yeah, another thing I read, I think he was like he's like, I take full responsibility with the Killing Joke for turning Batman so dark and serious.
Batman, my favorite character.
Well, and I think I read that he was finishing up Watchmen, so he was still mining, that kind of dark, serious, and that transferred over to Batman because Batman, the Killing Joke is really mean-spirited. I mean, it's like, much like Watchmen. I mean, he was mining kind of that same vein, I guess. But if you look at his Swamp Thing, before Watchmen, that's great.
Oh yeah.
For the Man Who Has Everything, what is that? Superman annual?
Yep.
11, I think. But
I think, yeah.
Now, there's the he wrote the last 2-part story of the Silver Age Superman.
Yes.
Right? With Kurt Swan and George Perez.
Yeah.
Neither of us still with us at this point, but I felt like that story was a little bit mean-spirited just because there was a lot of death in there.
Yeah, but I think it was supposed to give like a feeling of finality and end,
Yeah.
because it's basically just like, okay, what if you're writing the last Silver Age Superman story
yeah,
before John Byrne comes in? Yeah.
hmm
Which I thought was I mean, yeah, I get it. It does seem dark because there's so much death, and again, it's like how much death was there in Silver Age Superman? Really not,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the only people that died when Krypton exploded were Laura and Jor-El and all the scientists who called him a poopy head. Everybody else probably survived, right? I mean, because there were so
yeah.
many
Well, his
people.
cousin, a couple criminals, bunch of animals.
There was pretty much a pipeline from exploded Krypton to Earth, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Dogs, cats, horses, monkeys. Yeah, I mean, they all.
I don't remember who I was talking, maybe one of the boys, but you want to read some really awesome Alan Moore Superman? Check out Supreme that he wrote for Extreme.
Oh, I
You
never
know,
read that, but I wanted to read that.
it's of course it's amazing. And you've got great Chris. I am a Chris Sprouse fanboy. He is an amazing artist, and so he does art on a lot of it. It's definitely worth reading. I think it's called the arc is called like Story of the Year or something like that, and it's not Superman, but it's ostensibly Superman. Supreme is Superman.
Well, one day we'll have to find an excuse. I might be able to get you a Chris Sprouse interview because, yes, one of our fellow podcasters who was on Southgate Media with us, Charles Skaggs, I believe he still does a podcast with Chris Sprouse's wife. So,
Oh, cool.
I think
Well, Chris he's a big Star Wars fan because he's been doing a lot of Star Wars alternate covers, I think, of late. And he's just there's a precision and just a simplicity that is very, very deceptive because it's really hard to get that level of simplicity and get what he's able to get out of it. But he's just so good.
heck yeah. All right, so what are we covering tonight, Guy Gardner?
Guy Gardner, man. Isn't that what we usually do?
All right.
Yeah, and we were chatting about this earlier, and I'll preface these 3 issues. It hit me as I was reading number 137.
Yeah.
The first one we're going to talk about. The art is still great. I mean, it's Daryl Banks, and Daryl Banks is, awesome, but none of the characters sound like themselves.
Yeah, like we were saying, like I said, yeah, it's definitely there's like a different tone than the Mars stuff. Yeah, some of the characters seem.
Yeah, and there's kind of a snarkiness to the tone. When Martian Manor calls up, to go to the other in 138, you get this kind of sitcom-ish dialogue, that just didn't. It felt really out of place to me. I mean, it wasn't bad dialogue. It just didn't feel right for the characters.
I think maybe it's kind of like an early take. Probably Judd Winnick's early take on what they try to do in the Marvel movie, the MCU now, where they try to inject humor into stuff. But I don't know. Sometimes I don't think it lands right, or
it didn't.
But
it didn't land. I think that's why so far his issues haven't really hit with me, is because the characters seem somehow off. And I think it's the dialogue that's mainly it. Now, that's not to say that what Winnick did in 137, which we're about to talk about, having a character come out, and this was 2000, this is a big deal, and I feel like that part of it was handled with some sensitivity, apart from Jade calling him stupid every 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, and there wasn't a lot of Green Lantern. Yeah, this was once again it was very much a Kyle issue.
Mm-hmm. Which and yeah, I don't know that I had a problem with it because the pacing felt better on this one.
Yeah. Well, there's more stuff that. Well, I mean, again, we're fully entrenched in Judd Winnick's version of this world now, and there was plenty of stuff to keep us rolling. Well, again, this is what 137. We started at 129, so we're already like 8 months.
8 issues in, yeah. But yeah, I guess it shocks me a little bit that I did a search on this issue, and it's like it's just another issue. But Terry coming out to Kyle, I feel like in 2000 was a big deal.
2001, yeah.
2001. So I mean, I obviously I don't remember what the press was saying about it or anything like that, or comics press, but it just seems like I don't even know if it's noted. I'd have to check my Overstreet somewhere back up there, but I don't even know if it's noted there. It just seems like it kind of, nobody remembers it.
Yeah. Well, again, I can't remember if this made a lot of news, but I mean, these days it's just like, so someone came out. It's more like, someone came out. It's like, well, yeah, that was a much bigger deal 21 years ago.
21 years ago, yeah, exactly. It was a huge deal,
especially in a mainstream
DC comic, yeah.
Oh yeah, because I remember. Do you remember JMD? You read JMD Mateus's Captain America run?
Probably. I don't necessarily remember.
But Steve Rogers starts hanging out with his old an old childhood friend Arnie. Because Arnie in age, but Steve hadn't. But Arnie was gay, but they never came out and said it. It's basically Arnie and his roommate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I read those issues. I'll have to go back and.
Yeah. But that was in the 80s, so it was like, it was just like, yes, him and his roommate.
Yeah, that had to be all subtext in the 80s.
Yeah. That was like early 80s too, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so all right. Want a synopsis for this issue? Although I feel like we already did it, but okay.
Go for it, man.
All right, Green Lantern 137 from June 2001. The Bonds of Friends and Lovers. Writer Judd Winnick. Penciler Daryl Banks. We still got Daryl Banks. Inker Rich Faber. Colorist Moose Bauman. Letterer Chris Iliopoulos. And editors Bob Schreck and Michael Wright. Kyle Rayner just asked Jade to marry him, but he does not quite get the answer he was hoping for. Jade explains that she loves Kyle, but thinks it is too early to become husband and wife. At least Jade takes the power ring Kyle got from Batman so she can fight by the side of her boyfriend again. When Kyle tells his assistant Terry Berg about the proposal, Terry surprisingly reacts very rude and even calls Jade a green-skinned freak. With tears in his eyes, Terry says that he just does not want Kyle to be together with Jade, and it takes a few seconds until Kyle understands what his young friend is talking about. Later, Kyle tells Jade about Terry's confession, and Jade is not as surprised as Kyle has been. She and even John Stewart already had a suspicion about Terry's sexual orientation. So Kyle makes his way to New Jersey to talk to his assistant again. Terry is very unsure about himself and does not know if he is gay, but Kyle gives him confidence by telling Terry that there is nothing wrong with him and he is just who he is. However, Kyle also clearly states that he is not gay himself and that he has a relationship with Jade. Still, Terry feels much better and, in Kyle's opinion, was very brave today.
And Kyle assumes that, his boss? His manager, director? He also assumes that he's gay when he is not. So Kyle comes off as kind of pretty much clueless this issue about most things.
I mean, I'm assuming that's just the life lesson. It's like, don't judge people, just by appearance or
But yeah, I mean,
but lots of liberties taken with this issue too, because I'm like, all of a sudden that ring just like I think we said last time, it's just all of a sudden it's just the Batman ring. Oh, Batman had it, it's basically, And I'm thinking, did Cal know that, or did Batman? Well, it could be Batman just hit, just like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, I have that ring
from Anarchy. Does it show what happened to the Anarchy ring at the end of those issues?
No, because remember I said, oh, I guess it got destroyed because because Cal can't find it, and it was just because they were
Batman
fighting
has
that other dimensional whatever, and they just assumed
Yeah.
it was like destroyed.
Yeah. Huh.
So that's what I'm saying. Did Judd Winnick just want to give Jade powers again? So he just like made up, oh hey, Batman had it.
Batman, my favorite character.
Maybe. I mean, and Jade. How long had Jade been out of the book? I mean, because she and Kyle had broken up back during, when kind of Donna came back shortly.
Yeah, it was around Day of Judgment. Oh, yeah, it wasn't around. Yeah, it was Day of Judgment because remember Donna showed up at his art show, and then
Yeah.
Kyle's like, I don't know if I still have feelings for her or whatever, and then Jade kind of left, and
then all kinds of stuff happened. We had Circle of Fire. We had the last few issues of Mars.
the fill-in
Yeah,
stuff,
and then the fill-in stuff. So
I mean, Day of Judgment, what was that, like 117 or something? So
yeah, so there was a lot of time that she wasn't in the book, right? I mean, we're talking 10, 15 issues.
well, yeah, because the end of Mars's run, I mean, he mentioned Jade, but she really didn't show back up. I mean, like I said, we had those 3 fill-ins. We barely got any Cal Rayner stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Judd Winnick brought her back, so. Yes, it is.
Okay.
And then when she says, "Oh yeah, John kind of suspected because he had a brother who came out." I was like, I don't have a problem with a brother, gay brother, but I'm like, did they ever mention John Stewart having a brother? Is that any story? I'm trying to remember because in Mosaic, didn't it? I mean, again, maybe they just, didn't say either way. But I'm like, I can't remember. But didn't
I thought he had a sister. I thought he had a sister, but I didn't think he had a brother. But
unless Judd Winnick invented that too, like I said, maybe they just didn't mention either way. But yeah, I mean, if he had a sister, they could, they should have just been like, oh yeah, his sister came out to him or something, Yeah, that's weird. Those were the two big things. I was like, wait a minute, did he just like it just kind of like wish that ring back into his existence by like, oh yeah, hey, Batman found it, and then all of a sudden John Stewart has a brother, which I don't think we've ever mentioned before, and I don't think we've mentioned ever after Judd Winnick's gone. We had never mentioned again either.
I'm checking his Wikipedia entry here.
Although, you know what, that might be another glaring thing that we need to address in any upcoming Green Lantern book. It's like, since Mosaic, have we really gotten, except for like having a girlfriend, have we ever gotten into like John's personal life a lot since Mosaic?
Not really. I mean, and Mosaic was, I'm still I think it's an important story it's obviously extremely important for John as his character. Of course, it's by a writer that we're not going to discuss for obvious reasons.
Yes.
But I really feel like the story that writer was telling with John, I'm thinking he maybe wasn't the best person to tell that story.
Yeah.
But having said that, what the story that was told was weird and wild and crazy and extremely interesting, right? But I mean, I have very conflicted feelings about Mosaic.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
Oh well, you're tempting me. I just want to say, okay, we're gonna veto all the voting and just do a John Stewart episode for 100.
I don't know that I feel qualified to do just a John Stewart episode. I would need to reread. I'd probably need to reread Hard Traveling Heroes, and then when he comes back in the late, 170? I think.
Yeah. Oh, when Hal quits and John takes over. Yeah.
When Hal quits, part 99, whatever that was.
I'm quitting for a woman, and then she becomes Star Sapphire and leaves. I want my ring back.
Yeah, we won't get into the portrayals of Hal Jordan after,
especially when it comes to women.
Well, no, that's fine.
That's what happened.
I'm just saying the weird iterations he went through. I mean, the core of his character is, he's a test pilot. He's this science hero. This is early 60s. This is, this is, the Mercury Project, the Apollo Project. These guys are the heroes. He's one of them.
But he had a burning desire to sell insurance, Will.
And toys. And be a truck driver. And I'm like, no, no, it's not right. It's not right. So,
Or just a bum traveling the country.
yeah, I mean, and I know I've said this till probably I'm blue in the face, but
Okay, Ganfit.
hard traveling heroes did not really do Hal any favors. I mean, it made him the straight man to Green Arrow's, wanting to. He was the voice of the status quo.
Yeah.
Whereas Green Arrow was, the voice for change and progressive and all these ideas. And, he got knocked down a few times, but I don't really feel like the character, that was another kind of hit to the character because he was selling insurance at that time, right? Or was he a toy? I can't remember. No, it was toy.
It was the
He
toy.
was doing toys because he had stopped being an insurance because we did the summer of '69.
Yes.
He had stopped being an insurance salesman. Now he was selling toys, and then Hard Traveling Heroes hit.
Yeah.
I feel like the poor decisions with respect to Hal by either editorial or the creative teams from, the late 60s through Hard Traveling Heroes, I don't feel like he ever recovered from that until Rebirth, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I don't know if it's my opinion. I don't know if it's valid, but it's kind of what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think like some of the better Hal Jordan stories are when they portray him as like that Daredevil Maverick test pilot, and it's like, yeah, it hurts the character. His portrayals aren't as good when they do what they did in Hard Traveling Heroes, where like because they had to contrast him to Green Arrow, they made him the by the book cop, and it's like that's not Hal Jordan.
No, it's not.
He's the one get reprimanded by the Guardians every 2 seconds because it's like, oh no, you didn't follow the rules.
Exactly, and which wouldn't have worked real well if both of them were like Green Arrow. So and that was just kind of another body shot I think that the character ultimately didn't recover from until and then we of course had Emerald Twilight. Boom, another body shot. Then we had Final Night, which was kind of a slight redemption. And then boom, another body shot with him as a Spectre, which again, I said I did not like. I did not want to like it, but J.M. DeMatteis is an amazing writer. And that Spectre series is really good, what I've read of it. But I'm sure the rest of it is just as good. And but it wasn't until Green Lantern Rebirth that, we kind of got the classic Hal Jordan character that I've always, loved. So there you go. And we're not talking about Judd Winnick's Green Lantern issues at this moment.
I know. All right. I'm trying to think if I have another thought on this. Oh yeah, and it's like she turns down his proposal. It's more like a not yet, but and I'm just like, well, let's think about let's set the scene. It's like he's proposing to her like first thing in the morning, like they're both basically in their underwear. I'm like, I don't know how romantic.
And I think
got some bedhead. You haven't brushed your teeth yet.
Let's bring this back around to Kyle. I feel like one of the reasons that Kyle was is as popular as he is comes down to Ron Mars and Darryl Banks.
Yes.
Right. And I think Winnick, while certainly, a good writer, I don't think he really got the bits and pieces of Kyle that made him popular the way that Mars did.
Yeah.
And I don't have any, I haven't looked up the sales numbers or anything, but I would think that once Mars has left, it's been 8 months since we did that. Sorry, it's been 8 issues, not 8 months. I would expect to see kind of the start of a drop off in sales. And ultimately that drop off in sales, will lead to the cancellation of the book and rebirth. So,
yeah.
I'm not saying that that's Winnick's fault, but
yeah,
I don't think his version of the character resonated as much with the audience as Mars' version of the character.
Yeah, I know for me it didn't, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was his choice to leave or not, but I mean, when you look, I mean, he didn't have a run as long as Ron Mars either, so I don't
exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, and to me, it seems like, okay, if sales are flagging, or hey, let's change the costume, or let's do something, very superhero.
We're gonna get that, yes.
We're gonna get to 150, and we're gonna get a costume change with Jim Lee cover, which is awesome. But it's and if you look, when Kyle comes back, people want him in that classic costume.
Yes.
His classic costumes. They don't want him in the Ion costume. They don't want him in a standard GL costume. They want him in the costume that is Kyle Rayner to most of the readership. So,
I mean, look at that page from Dark Crisis I just showed you. He's in that classic Daryl Banks Ron Mars costume.
Exactly. I mean, that's him, right? And you can see that with Guy Gardner, right? They've modified it so it's not the 80s version exactly. It's a more modified modern version. Yeah, but the one, and I think I kind of see this with Jon Stewart too, because I feel like because he's had several different Green Lantern costumes over the years, but I feel like every time they change his costume, they're moving more toward that animated series version of him, which is the one that everybody knows, right?
Yeah, and again, it's like because I think it was in the animated series too, wasn't he a Marine? Because at least since New 52, if not before, I mean, they've been playing him as he's the former Marine, and I'm like, no, I liked him as the architect. I liked him as like the brains out of all of them. He was the smart one, the smartest one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because that's not Hal's not dumb.
No,
but he's not given to excessive thought. Okay. He reacts, and he flies by the seat of his pants.
I know Lois new ringtone.
I mean, there's a great scene in Rebirth where he's freed the rest of the GLs, and they're all flying toward
Yes.
So we got to do this. We got to do this. How are we going to figure it? We'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, we're there. Okay.
Yes.
We're there. Let's figure it out now. And it's, Guy is, and I can't wait till we get to it because I haven't read them, but I've watched some podcasts about when Guy took over basically as the leader of the Red Lanterns.
Oh yeah.
And I've heard that those are some really, really good stories for him, and I'm looking forward to when we get there to read those as well.
I've read some of those this past year. I got some of those, and like there's in a few of them, it's even him and Simon, and I think that, like I said, I thought those two made a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm. And then there's I think it's Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps where he's captured by the Sinestro Corps, and he's just such a badass. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Rebirth really made me like Guy Gardner a lot more. Just because of, I think, really smart moves by the creative teams on his behalf, basically.
No, basically he's loyal to his friends. Unlike well, in the 80s and early 90s, it's like he's basically just like he's pissing everybody off.
Jerk, yeah.
Yes.
And we read all those issues, yeah.
Well, the Green Lantern ones, we could have did some Justice League with.
It's true. Well, and I really feel like and not just to say that his, we can't give, I think, Johns all the credit for that, Jeff Johns all the credit for that, because after Emerald Twilight, we got Guy Gardner Year One,
Yes.
which, was a lot of his backstory and explained, why he was, one angry guy, basically, and which is a great tagline.
Yes.
And then, even the Bo Smith, he wasn't, it rounded him out a lot more. Sure, he was, violent and whatever, but he wasn't the same one that we had read about pre-Emerald Twilight.
Yeah.
They changed the character a lot then, and I feel like continued to grow, in the few appearances he had post-Emerald Twilight after his series was canceled. And then, of course, Rebirth.
Well, that was going to be my other point. I'm like, I think we have more background on Guy Gardner than we do on Jon Stewart.
Yeah, but he got that Year One treatment,
Yeah.
and Jon Stewart never really got that. I mean, even in
some flashbacks of Mosaic and stuff, but
and even in the Action Comics Weekly stuff, he was there as just another Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as Jon Stewart. And I'm sure I've said this, multiple times as well, but I am still annoyed that they killed off Kat Matui in Action Comics Weekly in the manner in which they did.
Yes.
So I'll just leave it at that.
And look at all these resurrected Green Lanterns in Dark Crisis, and we still don't have Kat Matui.
Exactly.
All right, Will, we got two more issues to cover.
Let's go.
All right, yes, this is a two-parter, kids. These two. All right, so Green Lantern number 138, July 2001, Away from Home, Part 1.
It's a vacation.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Jed Winnick's still writing. Penciler Dale Eaglesham this time. Inker Rodney Ramos. Same colors, same letterer, and same editors. All right. Martian Manhunter sends Green Lantern on a diplomacy mission to the planet Tendax. Kyle knows he was not the first choice, but he accepts anyway, and his girlfriend Jade is accompanying him. Tendax is known as a pleasure planet and the jewel crown of the Lesorak Nebula. Yet it is also a planet torn apart by war. The two sides are set to finalize a peace treaty. However, after a 5-year truce, after spending some time at the beach, Kyle and Jade spend the evening at Minister Illis's palace, where Jade had a long talk with the minister and learns much about him and the history of Tendax. But the peaceful evening is interrupted by a huge explosion that kills 48 children in an instant. Green Lantern and Jade help out at the scene before returning to the palace and asking Minister Illis what he needs them to do. All right. We already discussed that opening scene with Martian Manhunter, because it's like, oh, they asked for Hal Jordan, right? Yeah. Told him he was unavailable. Then they asked for Superman, right? Yeah. Then they asked for you, Jean, right? Yeah. I'm like,
we're gonna pretend that they asked for me next, right? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I get the attempt at the humor, but it's like, realistically, wouldn't they have been like, oh, Hal Jordan's not available? Well, do you have a current Green Lantern? They are welcome to join us.
Because it was all about Green Lantern being there. And
yeah,
from my just kind of superficial research, I think this is kind of a retcon that, this is something that happened in Hal's past that, we'd never seen before.
Yeah, I was going to say, this never showed up in the book, right? Yeah.
I don't think so. I wouldn't say I'm 100% sure of that, but I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, I could see John Winnick just making this up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but what about when they're talking to the minister and like Kyle's playing with his daughter, and what you feel when the minister said, "Yes, I don't think that other Green Lantern. I would see that other Green Lantern, like playing with my children, and only if she's a teenage girl, how well."
I get it's Winnick trying to differentiate between
Kyle
Hal and Kyle, but I thought it was a weird place to hang your your differentiation, right? You know,
Yeah, I don't know if it's just him starting to say Kyle's more lighthearted and
more childlike or more approachable or something. It just didn't. I don't know. I didn't necessarily hit right. I don't know why it didn't hit right, but and I don't know. You know, to me, it seems like the only the only reason we have Jade around at this point is to explain Kyle to other people, right?
yeah.
I mean, that's she's not really getting much of her own stuff to do. She's just there to say, "Oh, I'm going to talk about Kyle with this person or with this person, or I'm going to mention to Kyle that I talked to him about him with John Stewart, or I talked about all." And it's she doesn't seem to have a whole lot of agency at the moment. I mean, sure, she turns him down for the proposal, but that was a weird kind of proposal anyway.
Yeah.
And gonna propose with it. If I would have proposed with a Green Lantern ring, I would not be married. Okay.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh yeah. Trust me.
Yeah.
But no, and how did you feel like when they showed up and like was it the minister or one of the others was just like, "Oh, we got 2 Green Lanterns," and she's like, "No, I'm not a Green Lantern." And it's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Well, it's like, wait a minute, you're wearing a Green Lantern ring.
Lantern ring with a Green Lantern costume, but you're not a Green Lantern. I didn't. Yeah, I thought that was a weird.
I mean, there's no core. I mean, there's no like
Yeah.
standards. That all she had to say is, "Oh yeah," or you could just call me Jade or whatever. You know, it's just like,
Yeah.
but it's like she had to go out of her way to say, "Oh, I'm not a Green Lantern." It's like, well, you're wearing a Green Lantern ring. Your
father was a Green Lantern.
Your boyfriend's a
person.
Green. Yes, I mean, even if he wasn't from the same, you know, even if it was the Starheart, he called himself Green Lantern at one point. Your boyfriend's Green Lantern. It's like,
You were a superhero before, as part of Infinity Inc. So
I mean, I get
yeah,
her wanting to have her own identity, but it's just like, just like, oh, just call me Jade.
yeah, just call me Jade. I'm a Green Lantern. It's cool.
Because once again, that duplicating ring is back. Will we could start a Green Lantern Corps again?
Yeah, Kyle's proven he's not really great at that, though.
I know.
Not great.
No.
Oh well. But yeah, this two-parter. I'm trying to figure out how we're supposed to feel. Okay, these people were at peace, then suddenly they weren't. Now the whole planet's just going to die, and we're going to leave because the whole planet's going to die. Sorry. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis for the next issue, and then we can get into this.
All right, so Green Lantern 139, August 2001, Away from Home Part 2. Daryl Banks is back as penciler and Rich Faber inker. After the massive explosion on the planet Tendax, Green Lantern will never forget the cries of a woman who had just lost her child. Of course, Minister Illis accuses the rival sect of the Magdum for being the culprits, but instead it is a rogue group called the Madiak, which seems responsible for the bombing. Ilias explains that the Madiak actually belong to his people and are part of an experiment which went wrong about 20 years ago. The Madiak are led by Lord Stackery, who once had been the best friend of Ilias. The minister wants Green Lantern and Jade to confront the Madiak with lethal force if necessary. Cal refuses to kill anybody, though. Cal and Jade need several hours until they find Lord Stackery and his group of mutated comrades. A fight is inevitable, and Jade quickly is astonished how easily her boyfriend controls the immense power at his disposal.
Okay.
Foreshadowing.
I thought that little bit, they're fighting, and suddenly we're keyed into Jade's thoughts out of nowhere.
Yeah.
She's like, wow, he's got so much more willpower. Wow, he's so good at the ring. I'm like, where the heck did that come from? It was, yeah, it just felt out of place.
I think it's a heavy-handed attempt to be like, oh, wait a minute, he's pulling stuff he didn't used to pull, like he's leveling up with that ring. Because he's like, oh, let me send help, and he sends like a bunch of like ring construct soldiers or whatever, and she's like, you know, how's he directing all the so many different constructs at the same time and
building up to Ion? I know.
Yes. 150 kids.
150. Excuse me.
I think we get some Ion before that. Cal, where's that? Yeah. But then Cal accidentally kills Lord Stackery, although his intentions initially were to stop him from killing himself. Listening to Stackery's last words, Cal understands that his death will not end the war. And after word reaches him and Jade that Minister Illis and his family have been shot, Cal decides that they will leave the planet because they neither cannot take sides in this conflict, nor can they hope to bring peace for Tendax. Okay, here's another thing. And again, both of these were Judd Winnick. All of a sudden, Cal is against killing, even if it's someone who murdered like 48 children. Remember when Nero showed up? He's like, oh, we might have to kill him.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of
and
inconsistent.
And I know it was a threat. He's like, I can split atoms with this ring. Basically Nero's holding an atomic bomb in his hands. But it's like, you have a mass murderer. I mean, he's killed at least 48 people.
And like 117 more. Yeah.
Yeah, and killing's off the table.
Yeah.
No, not even given a thought. No, we're not going to kill.
And that Lord Stackery was dying anyway because Jade kept saying she could smell the death or the decomp or whatever it was. Yeah. It was a very strange way to end the issue. You know, violence. Sure, violence begets violence, but guess what? With a Green Lantern ring, not to go all Sinestro, but you could stop violence with a Green Lantern ring.
Yeah, well, like she said, like when Jade's like, "Oh, we can't leave it," he's like, "Well, what do you want us to do? Declare martial law and which I mean is Sinestro, And again, I mean, I guess you don't want to squash like free will and rights and stuff, but it's like if it'll save lives, maybe give it a thought, maybe,
or maybe try to go out and inspire them to hey, this is what really happened.
Yeah,
I'm here to help. Let's try to talk this out. Let's not just leave them to basically kill each other.
Yeah, well, he throws out the line. He's like, well, everyone who asked for peace is dead.
He didn't ask everybody on the planet. That's not a very good...
Well, I guess he means the rule
leaders,
the leaders of this planet. Yeah, but I'm just wondering if that all of a sudden killing is off the table and the whole oh, this is such a hopeless cause. Is this leading up to Ion where it's like subconsciously maybe he's just like, I need to open up my mind and I need to do more and I need to do more and it's working on him subconsciously.
Perhaps. I mean,
I don't know if that was Judd Winnick's goal, his the
point of it, yeah.
Again, when this was new, you didn't see that coming, but it's like it's coming.
I don't know. I get wanting, to have a certain amount of realism.
Yeah. But
we're talking about aliens on another planet, so realism is not exactly going to be, our first standard here. But
I'm just trying to work it out in my brain. It's like, well, Winnick had him, ready to kill at one point. Now all of a sudden he's not willing to kill no matter what. So it's like,
and there's no way to, intervene and maybe help some of the people somehow without choosing a side or
call in help, call the Justice League.
Yeah. Call the Flash. He can, fix a bunch of stuff real fast.
Superman, symbol of hope. And he's powerful.
And they asked for him, right?
Yes, they asked for him and Martian Manhunter. Yes.
Yeah, it just seems it seems odd. It just the ending of this was not,
I think,
very satisfying.
I think the whole point of the story was like war. It's brutal, it's pointless, and it's not easily solved.
That's true, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
I know, but I just think Judd Winnick was just trying to pounded home. It's just like, oh no, it's a no war is a no-win situation.
I don't know. I'm probably have you should always punch Nazis. So I'm not
Yeah.
exactly a pacifist.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I agree with you,
Mm,
but I just wondered too if it's just the point of where it's just like there are no guardians, there is no core, so like that
uh-huh.
Cal really hasn't had like diplomatic training, probably even, and
Yeah. Well, but I mean, still, I feel like part of being a hero is making a
yes,
decision to try to help, regardless of how can I help? I'll just do whatever I can.
yeah,
And maybe let's give Winnick credit and say that that's what he was moving toward was Ion.
yes,
So as as a part of that, I see what you're saying. I feel like maybe it could have been accomplished a little less clumsily, maybe.
yeah. Again, that's what I'm thinking is still like he's trying to justify where we get with Ion, where it's like Cal's just feeling so hopeless and subconsciously, yeah, we already saw what he could do during Circle of Fire. As much sense as it didn't make, we saw what he could do. So
Exactly. Yeah.
those doors were already swinging open in his mind. Yeah.
As much sense as it didn't make. I love that quote. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, this is this is interesting to me because I had not read the Winnick stuff and I expected it to resonate more with me than the Mars stuff because
Oh, really?
I remember reading it, but I hadn't read the Winnick stuff. But it's surprising that it's completely the opposite because having gone back through all of the Mars stuff, I see what he was doing and I see how he was doing it, and it was done very well. Winnick just hasn't. I don't think he's hit. Maybe we'll see it more later, but I feel like he started out kind of rocky on the title.
Yeah. And again, too, like we were saying, I think he gets more. I think you've said it though, in one of the previous episodes. Judd Winnick has a hand on the everyday stuff, the Kyle
Oh
Rayner
yeah,
stuff. These guys locked in, but maybe he's not used to the superhero stuff. So, he's just maybe still finding his sea legs on the.
yeah. I mean, it's surprising.
And
I don't
again,
know.
and especially this story, it's out in space,
Yeah.
and again, is it a point of, oh, hey, this is an alien planet? Our morals, our values might not line up with this planet, or
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know, it feels like some missed opportunities,
yeah,
over the last several issues to do things. And you're right, talking about that inconsistency. Oh yeah, he's got a yellow lantern ring. We should kill him. Or, these people just killed a whole bunch of people and
yeah.
they're going to try to kill more. We're not going to even entertain the idea of killing them.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't think Nero had killed anyone yet, and Cal was like, we may have to kill him. Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, we have at least dozens dead, and Cal's like, no, we're not going to kill the people who did it.
Well, and I was thinking about this afternoon. I get Winnick trying to make, an arch villain for Kyle. Um, but I feel like that Mars was really careful in designing his villains for Kyle from a plot standpoint because they always spoke to various pieces of Kyle that he
Yeah,
was the last. He was carrying on a legacy. Maybe he didn't feel up to the legacy. And and if you look at Graven, if you look at Effigy, this was someone that was given power but decided not to take any responsibility. Again, speaking directly to Kyle's circumstances, whereas Nero spoke to, yeah, he's an artist too.
yeah,
It didn't, you know, I don't feel like it got to the core of the character and his motivations like a lot of those other characters that Mars and Banks created
yeah.
during their run.
And, yeah, and again, I don't know if Nero was supposed to be his Sinestro, but again, it's like Hal and Sinestro, they were again like a good art, Batman and Joker, they
Mhm.
flip, Sinestro was all order, Hal was fly by the seat of your pants.
Mhm.
Yeah, Nero was too similar to Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, he's an artist, and he was just nuts.
Yeah, I think it was just
Okay.
it was supposed to be there, but for the grace of God go I.
Yeah, and it does. And I don't think that really worked because Nero didn't choose to be the way he was, right?
No, it was mental
Yeah,
defect,
instability.
and yeah,
Yeah,
and a bad childhood. I mean, again, was it supposed to be Cal? He had a loving mother, but that father
yeah.
abandoned them pretty early. It's like, was he supposed to be like? I
And
keep
again,
respecting
that's something that Graven speaks specifically to, as a character. He's trying to get in good with his, stone-faced daddy, right?
Exactly.
So,
Oh, speaking of, Graven's going to be back in one of our January episodes, William.
oh, really?
Uh-huh.
What issue?
Have you? Is it one? It's 140 something. Have you ever heard of a little story called Joker's Last Laugh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'd completely forgotten about Joker's last laugh. We get a Graven
So
appearance.
spoilers,
Okay.
kids. Yeah. No. We get a Jokerized Graven.
How does that even work? Really?
Oh.
I mean, so there's the Bat
Hey,
God
who
and the
knows
Joker God.
who knows where he ended up? Remember at the end of '97, man, they Cal got teleported to the future. Who knows where Graven went?
He went to Joker's last laugh.
Oh,
Poor guy.
I can't even remember. I got to reread that, but I do remember we get a great Jokerized Graven. I think. Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
There are
Which
so
you can't even like completely blame Judd Winnick for that, because I'm sure they were like, you have to do a Joker's Last Laugh crossover issue.
I had forgotten that there were just so many constant crossovers in the early 2000s. I mean, it was, and even the late 90s, there was a crossover, Final Night, Day of Vengeance, this, that,
Oh yeah, I think they
Our
were.
Worlds at War.
Oh, we're gonna
Joker's
get there
Last
soon
Laugh.
too. But yeah, I think it was them. I think it was them trying to recapture the magic, the sales of the '90s.
Yeah, gotcha.
With all the freaking crossovers
The magic.
and especially Joker's Last Laugh. So who's crossover. Whose shadow was all over everybody's book that month.
Batman, my favorite character.
Yes, the Bat God.
Yes. All right. I mean, I have to see. Oh yes, the Joker's Last Laugh, issue 143.
Oh,
So
so
it's
that's just
coming
like
soon here, kid.
that's just 4 issues away.
Oh.
I feel like we've kind of been down on Winnick as his run, but he's got kind of big shoes to fill, from Mars, and I feel like he stumbled a little bit in these first several issues. So hopefully he can, but he has been getting better. I feel like the pacing's been getting better. I still feel like the voices are a little bit off, but I think he's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a case of Judd Winnick's learning the walk, and like Ron Mars hit the ground running.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so.
All right. So, yes, kids. You see what's coming in your future.
Speaking of what's coming in our future, what's coming in our future, Phil?
Thank you. I thought you'd never ask. All right. Let me pull up the schedule here. Like I said, we're pretty close to the end of the year here. All right, schedule we can open. There we go. All right, here we go. So we are on episode 94. So, oh yes. Oh, next we were talking about our Worlds at War, William. Next week we'll be talking our Worlds at War.
All right.
Well, first we'll do, which is totally unrelated to our Worlds at War, we'll do Green Lantern 140. Alan Scott's showing up. And then we're going to
Okay.
do the one-shot Green Lantern, Our Worlds at War #1. Which, like, I was looking at some of the other our Worlds at War issues. I was like, is Cal show up anywhere else? Like, but he really doesn't have a big part anywhere else. It's like, I looked at the Justice League one-shot for it. It's like, Cal's in it, but it gets like knocked out pretty quick. It's basically like a, Superman and Wonder Woman's
Joe,
show there.
gotcha.
Yeah, I looked at a couple of them. I was like, yeah, it was another one. I forget which one was it. A Superman issue? Or it's like, oh yeah, there's Cal in the background, but it's like we don't see him do much.
Hmm.
I'm like, big intergalactic story, and Green Lantern's like really not playing a big part. Really?
Kind of like when Marvel has those big cosmic things and Quasar doesn't show up. It doesn't
I
make a lot
know.
of sense.
But our Worlds at War, I think they were really like pumping. That was like a big Superman,
And Wonder Woman, I think, too. It was
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
big-
Well, of course, because her spoilers, her mother dies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were really pushing Superman in that crossover too. That's after our Worlds at War. That's when, I don't know if you kids remember in the early 2000s when he changed the symbol on his chest. Instead of the yellow, he had like the black.
Oh,
Like
I
under
didn't
the red, it was like the red S, but instead of yellow, it was like black.
So this is after Electric Blue and Red and
Yes,
Blue,
yes,
right?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was 97, yeah, when he had the electric power. So, yeah, it's a few years after.
Hard to keep it all straight.
All right, so yeah, next week, Green Lantern 140 and Our Worlds at War #1, and then in 2 weeks, The Last Will and Testament of Hal Jordan.
I actually remember that. I remember that being good. I hope it still is when I reread it.
I can barely remember that. So yeah, that's gonna be and then 3 weeks, Green Lantern 141 and 142, and then, like I said, the last episode of the year will be the first 8 episodes of the Spectre
Nice.
or issues.
I will reread those.
Yes.
I read them, I think, early in the year. I read the first 12, but they're definitely worth rereading.
Yes. Oh, we're gonna double up on it, yeah, because then the first week of January we're gonna do the Spectre 9 through 17. So
Nice.
and then yeah, well that'll take us to episode 99, episode 100. You decide, kids.
That's right. You vote early, vote often.
Oh, and then episode 101 is going to include that Joker's Last Laugh issue. Yeah.
Are we finishing off the Spectre?
Oh yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, hold on. Come on, 2023. Do 9 through 17, and then episode 104 we'll do Spectre 18 through 23. And then, then episode 107. Did it go to 27? Because I have Spectre 24 through 27. I think that might be the
I think
last.
so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, don't worry. We're going to do the whole series. I mean,
Gotcha.
I think I just have it between like 1, 2, 3, like four different episodes. But yeah.
4 blocks of it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We'll do the whole series.
Sweet.
I would not deprive you for Hal Jordan. Don't worry.
And then, so that'll put us at, wow, that'll put us into the new year. And we'll be on at least issues, 141, 142?
Well, like I said, first week we'll do Spectre 9 through 12, then episode 100, and then we'll do 143 through 145 for the third week of January. So, yeah, I mean.
Okay, so we'll be up. Wow, that means there are 36 issues left of this series once we do 145.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's not a lot.
Well, all right. Here's what he's hinting at, kids. All right, Green Lantern Rebirth is going to hit the podcast May 12th. So we'll probably record that sometime in April. So
I'm just going to tell you up front, for that episode,
he's going to be his pants, kids.
You might want to block off a little more time to talk about it. Because I probably won't shut up.
I know, that's okay. That's okay.
we might have to see if we could get somebody else just to keep me quiet on the show.
Like before we added some of the stuff, like we added the Spectre stuff, like
Mhm.
originally Rebirth was closer to episode 100. I was just waiting for like, oh, it's episode 100, man. Let it look.
Let it go.
All right. So yeah, kids, there's your rest of the year. There's your next year, a lot of it. So send your thoughts. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find Sector 2814 on Facebook, on Twitter. Go join the Green Lantern Facebook fan group. Find links for all the various social medias for all the shows we do, and stay updated on new stuff coming in 2023, including, well, our Justice League podcast is going away, but in its place, Lilith and I are going to be doing Salty and Petty, where basically we just talk about whatever the hell we feel like. And then on the other feed, Justin and I will be starting a new show, Marvel Tales, which will be taking the place of the Avengers show, which Marvel Tales, we're just basically going to just pick Marvel stuff. It doesn't matter as long as it's Marvel. Every episode will be something different.
Marvel Team Up number 123.
Oh, we can do that. Oh, no. All right, kids. Here's a news flash for you. Episode 1 in January for Marvel Tales, William. We're going to be doing the first couple appearances of Genusville.
Oh, cool. So
Silver Surfers, yeah.
And then after that, he showed up in what, Avengers? Speaking of Avengers Forever, we lost another great, Carlos Pacheco. Died.
Yeah.
Just I think it was late last week or over the weekend.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's really sad. I mean, his Hawkeye, his Hawkeye in Avengers Forever. I mean, in his Avengers Forever is just gorgeous. I mean, all of his work. He was on the post Rebirth Green Lantern monthly series.
Mm-hmm.
He was the artist. So I mean, we've lost another great. There seems to be way too much of that recently.
Yeah, that's our heroes, and coming soon on our Batman podcast. We're going to be doing an episode. William, you're invited. We're going to be doing a Kevin Conroy tribute episode because we also lost Kevin Conroy.
That's right. That's another one we lost. It's
the voice of Batman.
Yeah, the voice of Batman.
That's what I said. You read a Batman comic since like 1992. You hear his voice, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you go toe to toe acting wise with Mark Hamill. I mean, come on. I mean, you could tell Mark. Again, I love Luke Skywalker, but you could tell Mark Hamill has fun with Joker.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's right.
So stay tuned for that, kids. Yes, we're gonna have our Kevin Conroy tribute episode. I mean, it's hard to do like tributes to. We've lost so many people this year, like creators and stuff.
Yep, George Perez.
Hell, we're getting old, man. All our comic heroes are leaving us.
Even older, right? Yeah. All right.
All right. So yes.
Sorry to bring us down.
That's all right.
Bring us back up.
Okay.
Man.
Okay. Yes. So follow all our social media. Check out the YouTube channel. Everything we do gets a video. So smash that subscribe button so you don't miss a second of any of it.
Smash it.
And of course the Patreon. Once again, this is our labor of love. We're paying for this on our own. Every little bit helps, but $3 to $5 gets you early access to creator interviews, including a man who's still with us. Thank goodness, Mr. DG Chichester.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
Like I was saying, like I've said before, a lot of our episodes are Marvel because he did a ton of Marvel stuff. But yeah, it's our next episode of Chichester Chats. We're gonna be talking some milestone because we're gonna be talking Blood Syndicate 31 and 32, which Mr. Chichester wrote. So
nice.
And of course, superhero movie brackets is almost over. Thank God. We're going to crown a winner, and then
God has nothing to do with that, sir.
No, hellfire. And speaking of, yeah, she has decreed in 2023, if you are a patron, you can vote on what we talk about next year. But like my suggestion was, we talk some of the old podcasts we don't do anymore, like Quantum Zone, maybe for one episode. So yeah, so join as Justin calls it, join the Patreon elite like Ray Russell and Justin. So. And of course, pick yourself up some Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merch. Or if you just want to rain random money on us, there's a Cash App link in the show notes. Because as she says, remember, kids, December is not only Christmas time, but it's Lilith Hellfire's birthday. So
make it rain.
That's right. She was spawned into the world in December, kids.
Tell her I sympathize. Birthdays in December suck. So there you go.
You think it's bad? I have one uncle. His birthday is December 24th.
Mine's the 30th. So
yeah, I know. Like the day before Christmas, everyone's just like, "Hey, here's a birthday / Christmas present."
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, find everything at Linktree, linktr.ee/capes and lunatics. All right. And speaking of a man who can split his concentration in many directions, and like Ion, if you will, Mr. Will Allred, master of the core, master of the Quantum Zone, master of Kickstarter comics, master of podcasting. Where can people find you and all your stuff?
You can find me at Wallred. That's at WALLRED at Gmail and Facebook and Twitter, while Twitter still exists. It's kind of a glorious dumpster fire at the moment. But anyway, you can also find my self-published comics at Crossover Division is at crossoverdivision.com. The 4th issue should be going to the printer real soon, and we will be doing a collected edition probably early next year, again on Kickstarter. You can also find Diary of Night at diaryofnight.com. And let's see. Oh, I also host another podcast every week with Kevin Joseph. It's called Explain Yourself, where we interview and promote Kickstarter comics projects by interviewing the creators on the show. It's every Friday night. And finally, we mentioned Quasar during the show, and who doesn't love Quasar? So if you want to find out more about Quasar, go to the Quantum Zone at quantumzone.org.
They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices.
Somebody got paid for writing that line, dude.
I know. Was it DeFalco? I think it was DeFalco.
I think it was DeFalco.
Seems like I'm getting a package every other day. Hey,
that was from...
Look at the party. I love the party.
That was a Star Blast issue, right? I don't think Gru.
Yes. No, that was Star Blast. Yes.
Yeah, that was not a Grunwald written issue. I don't think.
No, I believe that was a DeFalco Fantastic Four. So.
Gotcha.
I believe Triton said that in the ocean. Yes.
They're not even attempting.
I think we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Bigger something.
All right, kids. Yes, come back next time, kids. If you didn't get enough war talk next week, our world's a war. And again, we're going to get to the Spectre soon. We're going to get to episode 100 soon. So tell us what you
get to Rebirth soon.
Spring, everything will be blooming, including Will when we get to Green Lantern and Rebirth. Sorry, we'll get some good James Dean Spectre before that. All right, kids, come back next time. And remember, don't assume people's orientation and think of a better engagement or proposal. Good night.
Yeah.